All right, welcome to those of you who have just joined us in the past couple of minutes. My name is Alex, and I'm going to be hanging out with you for a little bit here today. If you haven't already, and you are able to hear my voice as well as see my screen, then do me a favor, and in your GoToWebinar control panel, there is a couple of different tabs there, one of which says questions. If you click on that, there should be a field where you can type something in. Just shoot me an okay or a sounds good, something there, so that I know that you can hear my voice as well as see my screen. Great. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Well, welcome to today's webinar. We're going to go ahead and get started. Again, my name is Alex. If you've been around Aplos for a little while, you've probably talked to me at some point. My job kind of changes every couple days here, but for the most part, I'm one of the managers for the customer success team, and we do our best to provide free support as well as services to our customers. And we are kind of very excited to announce the integration between Aplos and Gusto of which we're going to be learning about here today. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the presentership over to Sam Haber. He's from Gusto and going to be running with things today. And I'm going to let him take the reins here in just a second. So Sam, I'm going to pass the presenter role over to you. So you should have that prompt on your screen.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Alex. Can you see that okay?
Yep. Yeah, looking great.
Perfect. Let me just switch over into the presenter mode. Excellent. Yes, thanks so much, Alex. Really appreciate it, and for hosting this webinar, getting it going. I can't tell you how excited I am to announce the formal partnership and integration between Gusto and Aplos. It's been great. We've gotten so much excellent feedback. We really love and work extremely well with the nonprofit and church space, so it seemed, kind of a match made in heaven there. So again, really excited. Let's see here. All right, first off, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Again, Sam Haber. I currently am the accountant and integration product specialist at Gusto. I have a background in public accounting. I came from PricewaterhouseCoopers, so one of the big guys, and have had the opportunity to be at Gusto for the past 3 years, see tons of growth on the small business side as well as the nonprofit and church side. It's been a pleasure working with Aplos to get the integration up and running again, and we're really excited to, I'll tell you about Gusto. We'll go through the Aplos Gusto integration, talk about some different church and nonprofit specifics, and really dive into our product and exactly the value that it can bring to you. All right, so a little agenda. We'll go company vision. I want to tell you about Gusto, high level, what we really stand for. I'll run through the products, some of our service offerings. I also want to give you a in-depth demo, show you exactly what the platform looks like, because it really speaks for itself in terms of the level, intuitive and easy to use, easy to process payroll. We'll talk about a little bit more about why Gusto, again, some more value that we bring. I also want to highlight the onboarding process. Never too late to onboard. We have an incredible onboarding team that can help you every step of the way if you want to get onto the Gusto platform. Again, the nonprofit and church bit. And then we'll do a demo. Alex is going to help with a demo of the actual integration, exactly how those journal entries are going to flow into your system, the ease of setup, and how you can have all the Gusto payroll information on your books ready to go. And then we'll go into a little discussion and Q&A. Perfect. So let's get started with the Gusto vision here. So why does Gusto exist? It's to solve a fundamental problem, the problem of payroll, the problem of benefits, the problem of HR. We want to make it as simple and delightful of an experience as we can possibly do. There's a tremendous amount of this manual pain that goes into payroll. What Gusto does is we do peace of mind. We're the ones who will hold your hands every step of the way. We make sure that we get all payments submitted, ways of access to the different 1099s. If we need to get housing allowances onto the W-2s on the church side, we're there to help you, walk you through that process, and we want to make it seamless. We understand that payroll is not the most glorious industry, and generally the platforms can be a little bit clunky. So we want to give you that peace of mind and incredible experience. We also have a fundamental belief in that we should be celebrating people. And it's not that you're not an ID number. It's not just a simple transaction output, but the idea is you should be celebrating the work that employees are doing for the different companies. So we take tremendous pride in the platform that we built on the employee side, celebrating people. People aren't just we're not capital. They need to be celebrated in the work they've done, And we recognize that payroll and benefits that are provided are a great way to do that and to celebrate what we're doing for or what people are doing for your businesses. So let's talk a little bit about the unnecessary payroll pain, just because these numbers are meant to be a little bit scary, and again, to drive home that point, that Gusto will give you the peace of mind. So there's about 5.7 million businesses and nonprofits that are requiring U.S. payroll. 33% of them are fined every year for incorrectly doing payroll taxes. And fines are scary. I'm sure most of us have seen those notices that come from the IRS. They look like they're done on an old school typewriter. And a lot of times you kind of just end up paying them. You don't really know what they're for. You don't really understand them. And we see a third of these businesses fined for those. 40% of businesses also are still doing payroll management. So I think that speaks to the spend on payroll, staying up late during nights and trying to figure out taxations, get those submitted, and increase the quality of life. Very important on the Gusto side. And just for some fragmented ADP and Paycheck's valuation, $55 billion valuation serving 1.1 million businesses. So there is a segment that we can really go off of, specifically on the nonprofit side, and help you work through all of those additional problems, issues, and make it as smooth and seamless as possible. And here we have a little bit of a distribution chart in terms of 1/3 of the U.S. companies being between the 1 and 100 employees in size, which is really our sweet spot. We want to center in on the nonprofit small business size, because we recognize that there's not a great solution there in terms of being smooth, helpful, and really supporting employees and whoever's administering payroll, helping on the HR side in the platform. All right, so a little bit about Gusto, just background. Total encompassing people platform, and that means HR, payroll, and benefits. So combined, we want that experience of anyone who's in charge of the business or business nonprofit can log into their account and seamlessly manage all different things. We recognize that having everything centralized has been a really great service offering, and provides not only that peace of mind, but makes payroll, HR, benefit management very easy. We're serving over 60,000 businesses and nonprofits, and being here over the past, we love the positive experience that everyone's getting. I'll talk a little bit about our NPS score, some of the quotes in terms of how Gusto eases running the business. But 60,000, it's been exciting to see that growth. Processing tens of billions of dollars in payroll. We have about 500 employees now between San Francisco and Denver office. We've been around since December of 2012. And this last point I kind of want to harp on is we're on a multi-decade mission. So we're really committed to growing our business and growing along with our clients, and taking it from square one of your business or a nonprofit, starting that and getting all the way and being with you every step of the way. It's really driven home by our founders down to the newest hires, that we're here to empower our clients and these people. All right, so let me talk a little bit about the product, high level, before we get into the demo. HR payroll benefits platform. So what does that mean? First off, we have full service payroll. And what's full service payroll? That means we will be taking care of all tax payments, all filings. We're nationwide. We support state and local taxes, which has been a huge add-on, and giving you that peace of mind. Full service. We do W-2s, 1099s, any federal and state filings as well. So when it comes to payroll, it's a run it full service, and you're good to go. We can get your employees paid. We can do direct deposit. We can provide you with checks to print as well if you want to pay your employees via check. Very transparent on the pricing side as well. We'll never charge you any additional fees for that. I'll get into the pricing a little bit later, but that full service aspect. We're also a platform for benefits administration, meaning Gusto will be brokered for a benefits plan. We have an amazing benefits flow. We really do a great job hand-holding and helping our clients pick out the benefits plan that's best for their different situations. And then we have integrated HR. Integrated HR means you bring on an employee and we'll have W-4s and I-9s ready to go. We have a tremendous self-onboarding. If you're looking to hire, and tracking down different individual employee information can really be a pain. So allowing to send an email to these employees, get them all set up is incredible. We also we're working more and more customized documentation. We have an amazing concierge plan, which I'll talk about, all in one platform. We bring that design, we bring that world customer service, essentially a sleek, intuitive platform. What really differentiates us in addition to that is the idea that we provide that wonderful customer service, and any issues that come up, we're there to help you, whether it's tax notices that come from the IRS, we'll work with you to get those resolved. Any payroll issues that come up last second, you can always reach out to us. We're there to walk you through every step of the way. So here's just some facts that we've gotten from our customers. It's extremely easy to run on the payroll side. 9 out of 10 customers are saying that it's easier than other payroll solutions. It speaks to the tons of work that our engineering team's done, and you'll see when I get into a little bit of a demo exactly what that looks like. It's extremely fast. The average time spent is 7 minutes on payroll, and I know that I've heard some horror stories about payroll taking hours and hours to actually handle. And so a 7-minute payroll is incredible. We also have an auto feature. So if you have all salaried employees in a situation, you don't even need to log into Gusto. We'll just send you a confirmation email that payroll's been processed. It's reliable. 4 out of 5 customers report fewer payroll errors after switching to Gusto. And I think that speaks to us taking care of those payments and filings as well as the premium customer support. The modern HR, touch on a couple of these, but the employee self-onboarding, saving hours every time you onboard a new employee. You can bring someone on, they're all set to be paid, have all their information. The employee accounts, these employees will have access to any W-2s for lifetime. So now there's no mailing W-2s or worrying about getting 1099s distributed. It's empowering those employees, self-serve, and it's saving the admin's time. We also have a compliance checklist in terms of customers are feeling more confident in compliance, and that speaks to less errors. Some of our other service offerings, we also handle a workers' compensation as well, in addition to the benefits. So the different compliant components, we're there every step of the way. Fully integrated benefits. So from a small organization, big time benefits, meaning health insurance. We do 401k. We help with 403b from a tax implication standpoint. HSA, FSA, commuter benefits, all housed in the platform. So now we're having our employees, and this is, the logical step is through payroll, which is really, where we started in our core offering. You move into the benefit space, and everything can be managed directly there in the account. Again, onboarding, get selected on that benefit plan. We'll rank all the different plans. We'll tell you what the costs of the companies are just to make that experience even smoother and empower you to pick the right plan for your employees. Better technology, the enrollment. We have an incredible enrollment team, whether you're finding a new plan or transferring a current plan. We'll be there every step of the way for that experience. And then, of course, completely compliant sync deductions. Having payroll and benefits in the same platform allows for no confusion in terms of, did I have the correct amount deducted from an employee's paycheck? Are the tax implications correct on the W-2 and the federal filings? Having everything sync, there's no communication if you were using multiple platforms to do the management there. We're also integrated with tools and services. So we're going to talk about Aplos, of course, see that demo. Again, great partnership. We integrate with G Suite if you're looking to get Google single sign-on. We have a number of time tracking platforms, When I Work, Homebase, Deputy, great partners where you can seamlessly sync over hours to get your employees paid. We have banking partners in terms of Capital One, expense management, and we also do work with some POS systems, and the main one would be Clover there. All right, and here's the pricing. We do have some different plans, but just right off the bat, I want to tell you exactly what the plan are. $39, this is our core offering, $39 per month and $6 employee. And that's the full service payroll. So no additional fees, no contracts. I'll show you a little bit of a comparison slide later, but you could run payroll every day. You could run as many bonuses as you want, never any additional fees. If you're signing up through Aplos, you will get 3 months free. So 3 months free, an incredible savings in terms of how much you're paying for payroll. 10 person, let's say $100. Now we're looking at the savings over that time. $300 is incredible. So if you're looking to go for that solution through Aplos, having that transparent pricing and the 3 months free, extremely huge. No contracts, no additional fees again. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hop into a demo of the actual Gusto platform. So let me just make sure I don't get logged out here. Perfect. So here I'm demoing a fully onboarded company. It's representing our concierge plan, which I'll get into the detail here. You see we're on our dashboard. It's very centralized. It lets you know if there's different things you can handle. Time off requests, a new feature we added, which is really great. We have manager approval if you want a different role and permission, able to approve time off requests. We'll remind you about payroll. You can always get your accountant. What's really nice is you can have unlimited admins to your payroll account if you'd like to get them there, be able to access all the reports as you move forward. If you do use our concierge plan, we also have a dedicated support. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So from the dashboard, I'm going to go ahead and check out our people tab. And this is where all the employees are housed, exactly so you can check the different status of people that you're onboarding, log into their accounts and check all the different information. If I ever wanted to hire an employee, I have the offer letters, I can have contractors and get the self-onboarding kicked off there. If I go back, I just want to show you a little bit on an individual employee. If I were to pull up, let's say Isaiah here, what we can do is we can actually set up different exemptions, different pay rates, whether they're salaried or owners, those can all be set up. You can have multiple payment methods if employees would like distributions to different checking or savings accounts. Here we could add our special tax exemption. I know this really speaks to the side of church accounting too. As you know, we need to get those W-2s catered to different pastors or clergy, so you can get that set up right on onboarding, which is really great. Here we're setting up our federal tax information, California tax information as an example. This is done through self-onboarding, and it's always can be checked or changed by an admin. We support garnishments, meaning we will actually pay child support directly through our platform. So this has been a huge ask. We rolled it out where you can enter in a bit of information related to the plan. I can show you here. Let's say it's child support, the different agency case numbers, and we'll deduct that from an employee's paycheck and get that paid on your behalf. Really smooth, no reducing an employee's pay and having to make that payment yourself. I can also go into some of the little features here, personal features. We have custom fields if you want to add fun things like a t-shirt size, different time off policies. You can have unlimited policies, vacation, sick, and that also does flow to the PTO request. I'll just show you that super briefly. Documents will be housed. We have secure document vaults if you'd like to upload your own documents into the platform too. Not a problem. You can also get those into onboarding for signature. So that's an example of an employee profile. But first, let me show you exactly what it looks like to run the payroll. Here I mentioned that we have the payroll on autopilot. What I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and run this actual one. Below we have bonus termination. We're very compliant from a termination standpoint as well. If you ever had issues printing that check or need to set a date, great. We'll take care of that and make sure everything's compliant. If I go into run a regular payroll, here's our first initial screen where we can handle adding different hours, additional earnings. So we have our salaried employees with a fixed gross pay. We can add tax-free reimbursements if you do want to issue those housing allowances, bonus commission. For an hourly employee, we do have multiple rates. We'll calculate overtime as well using that time and a half or double OT. If I scroll all the way down, I can just make sure everything's looking good here. If I want to pay an employee via check, just as easy as switching from direct deposit to check. And if I'm scrolling all the way down for review, everything looks okay. I'll go ahead and save and continue, move to that next screen. And here's where our PTO requests, you can see all of our different PTO policies. We actually do have some pending time off requests. I'll show you what those look like. If you approve those time off requests, they'll flow directly into the screen. We'll track your balances. There's compliance related things in a lot of states related to sick pay. Those will be handled on your pay stub, and we can make sure those policies are set up super customized however you want to provide PTO for your employees. So everything looks good there. I'll go ahead and save and continue. And here we'll be able to take a look at our preview. And what's here is now we can really get in the taxes, exactly what's going on from the employer and company. What's great about the full service is there's no liability for taxes. And that really comes into play on the specific accounting side, meaning you can book your entry just using the gross wages and on that almost, that cash basis where you don't have to handle outstanding tax liabilities or payables on your books, which is really great. Having an accounting background and having to track that, whether there's taxes due at the end of the month or, semi-weekly schedules or quarterly, it's really great to have that peace of mind and know Gusto is going to be taking those taxes on the accounting side and just when you're running those payrolls. We can see exactly what's going to be pulled by Gusto, so there's no surprise in terms of how much cash is coming out of your account. We have different reports, cash requirement summary, if you'd like to check any benefit amounts, any garnishments, exactly what's going there. We can look at what our employees taking home here. Great example there from an hourly standpoint. Additional payments, if there's any benefits that are flowing through, you'll see those benefits populate as well. What the company is paying, so this is more on the cost basis, so company benefits plus employer taxes plus gross wages. Once everything looks okay, I'll go ahead and submit payroll. Excellent, and you're done. So that was it. I ran through an entire payroll in just a few minutes there. You'll see everything's great. You can kick back and relax. You'll see the total payroll. You can cancel the payroll anytime before our processing deadline if you need to run it. You can generate full summaries right through this screen, again, and track exactly what amounts are being from your account. All right, so that was it from a payroll processing standpoint. Quick, easy. I'll go through a couple more tabs here in our demo just to show you exactly else what we have going on. We have 1099 contractors, so all-inclusive payroll, no additional charges for 1099s or W-2s. Here's a sample of our time off requests. These can be submitted directly through the employee's profile. So we talked about that self-onboarding, having their profile, they can submit time off requests. You can see additional detail can be approved going directly through payroll. Next, we have our benefits. This is where you would enroll into the benefits flow. We'll help you get through those different policies. Really great flow. We'll help with the premium packages. We have 401k if you choose to go that route as well. You also have a spot where you can handle external benefits. Even if Gusto is not the broker of record, we'll need to know those amounts for tax purposes. Those can be entered here as well. And some of the additional benefits I touched on, we have a college savings plan, which has been incredibly popular. We have commuter benefits, life insurance, all sorts of great things here. Here's our Stay Compliant tab. I mentioned this. We make sure we're helping you and staying on top. We have that workers' comp insurance. We can help direct you to different labor law posters, help about any specific local fees, and really make sure you're on top of the business. And we are truly keeping your company running smoothly. We have employee surveys, and this is a new feature we rolled out. Really great. Where every month or so, I think you can set the cadence if you'd like monthly. You can send a survey with customized questions asking about the quality of life and quality experience of your employees, and we'll send you a report there. You want to check in on how your employees feel about the job. Handle that anonymous responses, so you can really go through and just check on your people, because again, people, we're not digits, we're not numbers, we're actually working for that company. It's extremely important that you recognize the hard work everyone's doing. Next, we have a plethora of different reports, and these can work with your accountants. As you can see at the top, tons of different things to check how you're doing on the payroll standpoint. We have a really in-depth payroll journal. I'll show you here where you can get detailed employee info, different tax breakdowns, customized date range. You can group by employees. We also support departments. This is another feature, and different states. So if you really need to get that catered journal report, if you're doing some sort of audit, all that information is there and can be passed on to whoever needs it, whatever party, internally or externally. Also, some other things, benefits, employee summary, time off, so tons of different things at your fingertips in terms of making sure everything is running well, and you know that you're in a really good place from a payroll, benefits, HR standpoint. In the company details tab, this is where we'll do the basic information. I wanted to touch on this because here you can set up your company as a 501c3. So if you are going in the nonprofit sector, what we can do is make sure we're handling those company-wide deductions. So this is really important. Gusto is happy to help you out if you need to do any retroactive work in terms of a company being exempt from different taxes. So here's an example of the place and just the effort that's gone into making sure we're well equipped for nonprofits and churches and handling those, because if you're getting those IRS notices asking for taxes you're exempt from, it's a pain to fix. We want to really get at the front and upstream on those kind of errors and make sure everything's handled. Excellent. And from there, I'll go into our documents. I talked a little bit about the offer templates. I'll briefly go in there. If you want to get to the offer, we walk you through every step of the way. in terms of getting all the information entered, completely customizable there. We do have a lot of templates. We help with employee documents. I talked about W-4s and I-9s, but we also have employee handbooks that can be acknowledged, different NDAs, and we also have direct deposit information all there to make sure we're really being compliant in terms of how we're paying our employees and what's being housed. Extremely big in the HR space is making sure you're compliant. We have all those documents housed. If there was ever some sort of audit, you can always come in and check back on that information. Next, I want to go into our HR Resource Center. So I'll talk a little bit more about this, but Gusto has a concierge service. And what the concierge service does is we help you with those HR questions. I can't tell you how many times being in the account space specifically where companies would come and ask, hey, am I being compliant from a termination standpoint, from a vacation side? Do I need to do any additional garnishment work? And what our concierge plan will almost eliminate the need for an HR person. We're trying to empower a payroll admin to be able to do HR benefits and ask any questions. So if you have any questions, updates, documents, descriptions, we have a service there. I like to think of it as if you could spend $70,000, $80,000, let's say, hiring a full-time HR professional, or you could use our service to answer those HR questions. Also, we have our dedicated support that comes as part of the concierge package. Really great. You'll have those specific people that you can talk to and answer any questions. Excellent. So that was a high-level walkthrough of our entire service. I showed you how quick and easy it was to run payroll, how to get our benefits entered, our people onboarded, set those exemptions for the nonprofits and churches, time off requests, all these different features. We continue to expand and build consistently on every part of our offering while remaining true to our full service and our transparent pricing. Excellent. I'm going to hop back into the deck here. So the plans, I just talked about it. We have our core pricing, transparent pricing with the $39.06, 6 per person. We have the full service payroll. Again, touched on that, peace of mind, taking care of all the taxes. That's included in every plan, no matter what. It's our core service offering. You still get the employee onboarding, the health benefit. You get that expert support if you ever have any issues. As you move into the different plans, you'll see next we have a complete plan, and this has more of the HR tools, the employee offers, additional onboarding features that you can upload and documents, the PTO requests, the directory and services within our complete plan. And the concierge, that's the plan where you get the dedicated HR help. You have certified HR professionals, HR Resource Center, the dedicated support, among other things. So depending on your service offering, shifting between the different plans, exactly what you need, we can help capture all the pieces that you will need to really empower your business and have the peace of mind with all of the different facets from the people platform. We have simple onboarding. So I didn't show you the onboarding. I just wanted to briefly touch on a screen here. But if you're looking to transition to Gusto, it's extremely easy to get all the information. You can get your company onboarded. We'll help you with any payrolls if you ran them in the month of January and want to get those uploaded. Very easy, very smooth. In your bank account, we'll get everything entered, ready for direct deposit. Everything can be signed in our UI, in our service in Gusto, so we can get that taken care of and set up the different policies. So extremely quick process to get onboarded. We definitely took pride in how can we empower individuals to get their companies set up in Gusto, and having this onboarding and being hands-on and really, really helpful and exactly what you need was a key part of that. Awesome. So now I want to go to some of the church nonprofit payroll specifics. I kind of touched on some of them within the Gusto interface, but for churches, the exemptions are all there for pastors and ministers, easy to set up. We can get that taken care of. We can also, fix anything retroactively for exemptions. I know it can be a little tricky, and if you consult, with a tax professional, let's say, we can get those changes. We do handle W-2 reporting for housing allowances. So any housing allowances or parsonage, all you'll need to do is send us an email at the end of year when W-2s are being prepared, and we'll get those entered into the appropriate box so everything's disclosed. And at the end of the year, we're extremely helpful on W-2s, adjustments, questions. If you have any things that are going on with the filings, you have issues there in terms of something was being missed, willing to handle those as well, specifically on the church side. And on the nonprofit, we'll handle the 501c3 exemptions. You can always reach out with any specific local tax or state exemptions. We can walk you through how to do that. And then retirement plans, 403B, can be entered into our platform so that you're properly tracking the deduction amount and capturing the different payroll and tax implications that go into the 403B. Awesome. So a little bit about why Gusto, just to reinforce the fact, but this is the Gusto difference really centers around customer support and how true that is to our business and how important it is. We have an NPS of 70, which is unprecedented in the payroll HR space. We've all had those kind of not great, let's say, customer support issues, and what we do is really pride ourselves obsessed about. Yes, we have the expert support and advice for working with small businesses. We know that customer support is an extension of our product. We're in all 50 states. I mentioned that. We have that full service payroll. So we're willing to scale and work with you as you grow your nonprofit or church. And then we're helping organizations create that great place, personalizing, polishing. We have specific payday emails that go out to employees celebrating that payment. We have the surveys. We have that clean interface where employees and admins can log on to. And customers actually love payroll. I know it was a crazy fact, especially when I joined Gusto. I had no idea that people could feel about this from payroll, but just some quotes here in terms of your payroll experience being amazing, taking care of everything in life, giving you back time and not having to spend it on payroll and benefits and HR is really key and is what we strive to do. How Gusto stacks up against the competition. So I just wanted to show you a link, and this is something that you can go on at gusto.com at any time, but we have an awesome comparison page where we look at all the different things between ourselves. And these are things to highlight in addition to our excellent Aplos integration between our Gusto offerings and some of the, the ADPs, Paychecks, Intuits out there. You'll see we really highlight our employee experience in terms of the onboarding, lifetime access, different integrations on G Suite and accounting platforms, including Aplos, of course, contractor payments. And as I scroll down, we look into our benefits and workers' comp that we provide, all of the different add-ons that are there, and the HR features. Discuss the concierge platforms and some of the really great things there, from certified HR pros to different employee handbooks, online offer letters. You can see that Gusto is a full suite of offerings looking to empower those businesses. And last, I just wanted to briefly touch on some of the other platforms, because I know these are some of the popular ones, and it has not as great of an integration in terms of flat file uploads, but these are just some of the things that Gusto brings to the table to be compared against Paycheck in terms of how we stack up against the competition and why we are a really good fit for you guys, personalized on small business, nonprofit, and church space. Awesome. And with that, I'm going to pass it back so that we can check a Aplos Gusto integration. So if I get the screen passed back here, just give me one second, Alex. And I will change this over.
All right. Great. Thanks, Sam. Can you see my screen now?
I can see your screen. Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, thanks for going through all that. Here, real quick, before we dive into the Aplos side of things, I'm just going to launch a quick poll. I've got a couple of these I want to do today, so I'm going to launch that first one, if you don't mind answering that real quick. The question is, what do you currently use to manage your payroll? Select one of the following. Nothing. I do it by hand. Free agent, QuickBooks Payroll, Sure Payroll, Paychecks, or other. All righty. Let's close that poll. Okay, so what do you currently use to track payroll? 23% nothing. I do it by hand. 17% QuickBooks Payroll, 2% Paychecks, and 57% other. Interesting. All right. Thank you for that. And thank you again, Sam, for walking through your presentation and the demo of Gusto. As you guys can see, the whole thing, the whole Gusto platform is just slick. I mean, I've seen a number of different payroll and accounting products in my tenure, and Gusto is by far the just cleanest. It's just easy to work with. It's very just aesthetically pleasing, covers all the boxes, so it's not compromising style for function, so just a great platform there. And we're very excited to have the integration. So what I want to show you now is just how this kind of then flows into Aplos. So if you've logged in the past couple of months, you've seen our payroll tab here at the bottom. This is a splash page that we've created to highlight this integration here for Gusto. And like Sam had mentioned, there is a 3-month free promotion that if you're an Aplos customer and decide to sign up for Gusto, then you can do that there. That'll get you plugged in with a couple of months for free. And if you're already a Gusto customer, you can just log in here, which kind of leads you to some credentials page, but then takes you to what I'm going to show you here. So in this demo account, I've already got the account set up. But when you set up the integration with Gusto, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to tell it, okay, here are all the categories that we track in Gusto, and here is where I want them to then be mapped on the Aplos or the accounting side. Okay, so this is a global account mapping screen. Again, taking all the different categories from Gusto and saying, here's what they need to be in Aplos. So there are a couple things to note here. This, again, is a global mapping screen. What this means is that this screen is going to tell the system, if you don't make any other changes, here's how everyone will be broken down. Okay, so I would only say that you're going to want to customize this for kind of the broad stroke of how people need to fit into different funds or different accounts or tags. Okay, so let's say that by default, everyone that I pay is going to come 100% out of my general fund. So I'm going to pick that. You can also, again, click the little plus button there to divvy it out to say maybe all employees by default are split 50-50 between general and missions. You can do something like that. For the sake of example, I'll just leave with the 100. So there's that. And then here's the first kind of category here, salaries and wages. So you're going to pick whatever kind of gross kind of salary expense you want everything to hit there. Like Sam had mentioned, the taxes are not something that you need to track in Aplos as far as the liabilities go. All of that kind of payment will be held from Gusto and paid out on your behalf. So there's no reason to track a tax liability in Aplos. The only liabilities that you're going to need to track are related to the other benefits, which are down here below. Now, this is listing everything. You might not have dental insurance or Christmas breaks or, Roth 401ks. This is just kind of listing all the possible options here. But whatever benefits that you have set up through your Gusto account are going to flow through here, and you're going to tell it what expense account you want to use for the benefit, as well as what withholding or liability account that you want to use for that particular benefit. So a little bit of mapping there. Again, you can split this out by different accounts. So if you wanted one of these to be spread across multiple expense accounts or multiple liabilities and a certain percentage. And if you also wanted, again, them to be globally assigned to a particular tag, you can do so there. Okay. So let's get down here. So there's benefits, salaries, and wages. Down here is taxes. So here again is the expense account that you want to use for the taxes, not the liability, but the expense account you want to be held or to be used for each tax. And then deductions, fixed compensations, and then the funding source down here at the bottom is going to be the bank account or bank accounts that are going to be used for the payment of payroll. So then you click Save. So again, that is the global mapping. So all employees that you pay are going to be assigned to that general mapping. Now, let's say that you have a different kind of split per employee. Well, here are the different pay runs that I can now import. So when I've linked my Gusto to my Aplos, it's going to flow through with here are all the different pay periods that are coming through. So here's all the ones that I can either dismiss if I've already taken care of it, maybe through a manual entry or something, or if I want to import it, I just click import. That will then take you to this screen, which shows you who's a part of this pay run. And this pay run is going to include all these people here. Okay. So let's say now that I want one of these employees to have a different custom mapping than my global mapping, because again, global is just by default, right? So let's take Alexander Hamilton here. So I'm going to click on him and click Edit Mapping. That is then going to take me to the similar kind of mapping page as what I just did, but this is specific to just this one employee, meaning it's kind of an override. So if you want Alex to have a different assignment than the global, you can now assign him outside of the global to be, let's say he's all missions fund. Okay, so there's 1,000%. There's 100% there. So you can then kind of map, all the different expense accounts. The particular expense accounts will probably be the same, but you might want to change the fund, which is up here. And here's now where you can assign Alex to be a part of a certain department, or if you want his salary split across multiple tags or something like that, you can add those kind of custom mappings however you need. And this is done per employee. So once you have a custom mapping set up, it's going to save to that employee and then be used by default for that employee from then forward. You can always edit the custom mapping. So if they kind of vary per month or per quarter or year or payroll run or whatever variability there is there, you can always edit the mapping if you need to. But for the most part, whatever custom mapping that you apply applies to that employee going forward. So you apply the mappings, global and custom, and then click next. Here is a summary of the account not the account, but the journal entry that will then be posted. Here's how it's happening from the withdrawal account here. Here's all the different funds and accounts that are going to be in play. And then you can click import. So what that does is it removes the line item from the top. And then if I go over to my journal entry screen here, then that's pay run is going to be right there. So there is the journal entry. So again, there's no need to manually type anything in. All the data flows over automatically from Gusto. You apply the custom mappings and custom mappings depending on what you need. And then you just click import and it flows into the journal entry screen. So it's literally as easy as that. All right. Okie dokie. Well, that was a good presentation again from Sam, an overview of their product, an overview of Aplos. For the sake of example, I'm going to guess, and just by looking at things, there's a majority of questions that kind of have to do with Gusto. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass the presentership role back to you, Sam, and I'm just going to read through some questions, and we will do our best to answer everything for you here in just a second. Real quick, before I do that, let me do a couple more polls here. I just want to get these out of the way. So here is the second poll. Have you tried Gusto yet? Moment of truth. Yes, I'm already set up in Gusto. Yes, I'm signed up for Gusto, but haven't run payroll yet. Not yet, but I plan to. No, I'm just curious. And while you guys were answering, I know that the audio was cutting in and out. I'm not sure what exactly that was due to, probably an internet connection on someone's side. But if you missed any of the content or if you have certain questions about things, then do me a favor and just type that into the question field. We're going to do our best to answer everything. We've got about 15 minutes left in our window here. If for some reason we can't get to your answer today, then we're going to answer everything offline basically and send you out that answer afterwards. Okay. All right, so have you tried Gusto yet? 19%, yes, I'm already signed up in Gusto. Great, 4%, I signed up for Gusto but haven't run payroll yet. 23%, not yet, but I plan to. And 54%, no, but just curious. And then last poll here, let's launch this. How many employees do you have? 1 to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 19, or 20 plus? Sam, if you had to call it, in your kind of experience with church and nonprofit clients, what is the average size of the team that they have to run payroll for, if you know?
I mean, so again, our sweet spot is 1 to 100 employees. And what's been great is specifically with Aplos, we've seen all matters of size of nonprofits and churches. And it's just great. So we're between 1 and 50, 1 to 100, whatever kind of service offering, we're there to help you out. Just ballpark, I would say a little, 10 to 20 is what we've seen for the companies. But, we started small and we've been scaling. So kind of speaks to all the different service offerings and us being able to fit different companies, as well as Aplos being able to serve a bit of larger companies too. So
great. All right, I'm going to close that poll. 33% said 1 to 2, 29% 3 to 5, 24% 6 to 10, 4% 11 to 19, and 10% 20 plus. So kind of right within that demographic that you were saying, that, anywhere from 1 to 100, but kind of the, under 20, 15, 10 kind of sweet spot that seems to be matching. One thing I did want to mention real quick before we get into the other questions is currently the integration with Aplos. There are a couple of things that we are still needing to flesh out to get the integration to work on. A couple of those things are housing allowances, off-cycle pay runs, and reimbursements. Those 3 categories are being worked on. They will be available at some point. Both teams are working on that. In the meantime, in the resources section of Aplos, if you click on the little question mark down here, that'll launch into I'm on the demo server. But that'll launch you into our resource section where you can type in Gusto to the, if I knew how to spell, there we go, Gusto. So there's a couple of different articles there, one of which is an article on how to start using Gusto, which is this one here. Walks through the entire setup process on both sides, both platforms. And then also, if you have the need for housing allowances, off-cycle pay runs, or reimbursements, there are articles related to those as well, which go through how to handle those until we can have them in the integration. All right. So, Sam, I'm going to throw the presenter back to you, and then I'm going to start reading some questions.
Cool.
And just a couple housekeeping things. This was being recorded, so if you want to go back and listen to it at another time, we will have that available for you, and we'll send that out here this week. Also, copies of the slide deck and some kind of takeaway PDFs will be available as well. Okay, so first question here is, I see Xero listed as an integration service. Can I get info on using Gusto with for-profit companies in Xero?
Yeah, of course. So if you want to visit our gusto.com integrations page, gusto.com/integrations, we have tons of help center content related to Xero. Works in a similar fashion in terms of flowing entries directly into Xero. It gets set up just like you saw the Aplos integration, except for it's set up in Gusto, and you'll be able to initiate those syncing of entries within Gusto. Very similar. One thing on the Aplos integration as well is, there's the reconciliation component is really great from what I've seen in Aplos as well. So all of those are built into the accounting integrations, and they all offer or operate in the same fashion.
Great. Second question is, please show how to pay an expense reimbursement, parentheses, direct deposit to an employee, no deductions.
Yeah. So that is, if my account's still up and running, I can just show you briefly here, but you can run off-cycle payrolls at any time, or you can just put in a reimbursement. So if I were to enter in the payment, there's a reimbursement field. You can also add those to the regular payrolls as well. And you can set up recurring reimbursements on the individual employee profile. So if you do have, say, a housing allowance that is going over recurring, you can add that directly into Gusto right here.
Awesome. And again, that kind of gets into what we're currently working on getting the integration to flow into Aplos as well. So if your question is kind of semi-related to how that then manifests in Aplos, we have that resource article that goes through how to enter that in the meantime. To clarify the per person costs, is this per run or simply per month, regardless of the number of runs in the month?
Yep. So it's going to be the per month. So transparent, flat pricing. There's never any additional charge per run. So if you have the one person company, $39 plus $6 an employee, it would be the $45 a month, and never any more charges other than that $45. And if you're shifting between plans, operates in the exact same fashion where you have that base and then you have that per employee. And if the employee is terminated in our system and they're not included in a payroll, they won't be included in the fee. So there's no, if I am terminating 1 to 2 employees, it will be adjusted on the monthly basis.
Awesome. Let's see, we have about 120 employees in our church and school. Some of our staff are paid 50% from the church and 50% from the school. Can Gusto report the allocation so we know the expense liabilities for both church and school since they're tracked by different funds? Yeah, Jason, I think that if I'm reading that correctly, it's kind of more of an Aplos question, which I hope I covered when I showed how you can then split that stuff. I also see a little bit later on, you're asking about the journal entry cross fund. So when you set up the employees per run or the custom mapping, you're basically assigning the divvy that you want to hit per fund, per account, and per tag or per department or whatever you set up there for the tags. So when you created that kind of divvy, what it's going to do is when it posts the journal entry, it posts it to be in balance. So that way the employee's full kind of expense and everything gets handled, but it's also divvied out and posted across whatever funds or tags or accounts that you've chosen.
Yeah, and so you cut out a little bit there, Alex, but yeah, and just to reiterate, you can, using the journal entry, very customizable. You can split it across the departments, different funds, different accounts, percentage allocations as well. So,
question here from Doug is, what does G Suite integration mean? Is it more than sign-on?
Currently, it's just the Google sign-on that we have there. So single sign-on in terms of getting it. We are working with Google to expand some of those service offerings, though, and having great partnership there.
Great. Do you have to change the mapping every time you run payroll? No, that global mapping, again, is set once and for all unless you change it. And then per employee, there is some custom mapping that you can save. When you set up a custom mapping per employee in Aplos, that will then save to that employee for all pay runs there going forward, unless you change it. Let's see. Question: how are taxes handled if payroll company changes in the middle of a fiscal year? It's a great question.
Yeah, definitely. So the way it'll work is, and this is part of the great onboarding experiences, is any taxes that are outstanding that still need to be paid. When you onboard with Gusto, you can let us know which taxes those are. We'll pull those upon running your first payroll. So if you have an outstanding federal, unemployment tax, you have an outstanding federal tax in general, state tax, when you onboard with Gusto, simply let us know which taxes those are and those amounts, and we can pull them directly from your account and get those payments submitted. Really smooth on the onboarding side. If taxes have already been paid, of course, you just make that election, just let us know. And that way we can get those W-2s up to date. All the filings will incorporate any historical payroll information.
Great. Does the per employee charge apply in month that an employee is not paid? We have several such persons who work occasionally.
Yep. So the way you would handle that is you would just need to terminate them from the platform. But terminating all their information is preserved. So we won't remove any information. And then when you want to bring them back on, just hire them. And it's quick, just, terminate, hire. And then there's, you'll be ready to go in terms of not getting charged. So that's the quickest and easiest way to go about that. So from a seasonal business perspective, terminating them, of course, the employees will still have access to all their pay stubs, all that information, and can update anything, and then just bring them back onto the platform. But quick one button to get them off the platform and another one button to bring them back on.
Excellent. Will you show a demo of completing a 1099 through Gusto?
Yeah, I could show you really briefly. Paying contractors is just going to be when I go in to pay them, I can put in the total amount of the payment. You can do per hour, or total amount of wages. And you can also do any historical amounts too. So if you've paid contractors previously or just want to get those totals entered in at the end of the year. So let's say I didn't want to pay my contractor through Gusto, but I want a 1099 produced for $6 at the end of the year. Put in the total wages as a historical payment, and we'll automatically generate that 1099 for the contractor. When you're onboarding contractors, you can either do that same self-onboarding process, or you can get the information added in themselves, or you can add in their information, and then the 1099 will be generated. It will just be that 1 month or multiple months that you're paying them. From a billing perspective, you will only be charged for a contractor in the month you pay them through our platform. So you can always onboard them, not pay them till the last month, and you would just be charged in the last month. But automatically, based on the amounts entered into the contractor payments, that's how we'll generate the 1099.
Great. Okay, about 5 more minutes. We're going to do our best to get through these last couple of questions here. So can Gusto handle salary employees that also do an hourly job? We currently use Intuit, and if you mark an employee as salary, there's no way to enter an hourly pay amount as well.
So what we can do is, there's always an additional earnings field, but you can also set default hours for employees. So if they have a fixed salary amount, you can set the default hours to, 86.7 or, whether it's 80 hours, and you can have multiple pay rates. So you could do a default hour amount, add in the hourly rates. So you can handle that, and then additional earnings field as well. So and there's customizable earnings types if you need to fluctuate between them. But that is something we can do with a default hours plus additional pay rates. And you can have as many pay rates as you want for an employee. So definitely can be handled.
Okay, for the housing allowance reimbursement, will these people receive 1 paycheck for the total or 2 checks for salary and 1 for reimbursement?
It would be 1 paycheck for the total unless you ran an off cycle for the reimbursements. So you could break it out into 2 paychecks if you'd like, or you can do it in 1 paycheck. The reimbursement will be broken out separately on the earnings statement or pay stub. So they'll be able to see what portion is reimbursement, and that won't be taxable. So it won't be included in the taxable wages to operate under the correct tax treatment.
Great. Are all tax forms handled for the base rate for Gusto?
No. Full service payroll, no additional charges for any forms. So really pride ourselves on that. We don't want to hit you with any secret charges or anything like that related to filings. That's not what Gusto is about in terms of empowering our different nonprofits and churches.
Okay. Do employees have the ability to enter in hours so they don't have to be collected by the payroll admin and entered manually?
That they do not, but what I would say is we integrate with a ton of the different those time tracking providers. And so with any of our time tracking providers, A great one is Homebase. They're a free solution where employees can enter in their hours and the admin could just approve it or can automatically get it to sync over into our platform. So a number of integrations there that would really, really work well in terms of employees clocking in, clocking out, putting their hours and flowing directly into Gusto. It would pre-populate in that payroll screen.
Great. Okay. A couple more. Can you change anything with payroll if there was anything needing changed after you've submitted and before you've actually paid?
Yeah, so you have two options. If it's before a processing date, you can cancel it. All the data is preserved and make tweaks. And if it's post a check date or after, you would just need to reach out to support and we can help in terms of getting previous payrolls corrected, different wages and information. Plus, you can also utilize that off cycle if you've underpaid an employee and need to pay them additional wages.
Yeah, and something on the Aplos side too. If for some reason you needed to do some error correction on that and you've already imported a payroll run, and so it's created a journal entry, what you can do is go into that journal entry, delete it, and then that's going to throw it back onto the main page from Gusto to import again. So then you can change the mapping, you can change the fund and tag divvy, whatever you need to do there, and then import it again once you've made those changes.
Cool. Yeah, and I just, with a couple minutes left, if it's okay, I just want to touch on one screen. This will go out, and then we can take a couple more questions. But in terms of signing up mid-year now, I know that, or not mid-year, sorry, 1 month in, you can visit either aplos.com/partner/gusto or gusto.com/aplos to take advantage of those 3 months free, get set up. We have a demo of Gusto as well. This will be circulated. All the payroll features, Gusto reviews. If you'd like to reach out to the Gusto onboarding team, success@gusto.com. We have a Gusto support team as well. So I wouldn't hesitate in terms of reaching out. If you want to look into the 1 month in switch and you want to get that payroll information, we touched on how we handle historical payments and helping out there. So real easy breeze with self onboarding, getting the employees put in. Great work there. If you have 10 plus employees, we actually have an onboarded team dedicated to getting you set up and ready to run payroll. So just wanted to touch on that. Now I know we have a couple minutes, so happy to take any remaining questions as well.
Yeah, I only see there's 3 more questions here. One is we pay subs per day. Can you enter a daily rate instead of an hourly rate?
Subs meaning contractors, is that right?
Either contractors or I'm guessing it's probably maybe substitute teachers, I would assume, because they typically have kind of a daily rate, not necessarily hourly breakdown.
Yeah, so you do have I have to think about that one a little bit, but you have additional earnings, custom fields. You can set up recurring earnings too. So you could set up the recurring daily amount. And then you can also, the pay rates can be adjusted to tweak to represent a day. And so if you wanted to do, 1 day's worth of pay at, at this rate, that's something that could be tweaked and get set up.
Okay. 2 more. So our contractors fees, $6 per month?
Correct. They're going to mirror exactly what the plan is. So if you have the complete, it'd be the $12 or it'd be $6 for the core, $12 for the concierge. But same fee there.
All right. Can PTO requests be sent to unique department heads for approval?
Yep, they can. So in our platform, you can set up managers to approve those different. You can build an org chart as well based off those managers, but those would go to whoever you selected to approve the PTO request.
Perfect. And then Robin was sneaking in one last little question here, asking, we just started with Gusto. Can I make a 1099 for someone we paid for last year?
At this point, we've missed the 1099 cutoff in terms of retroactively going back, so that wouldn't be an option based on the timing. So I do apologize about that.
All right. Okay. So everything else, it looks like we've covered most questions. If for some reason there was not a question that we saw or could get to, then do us a favor. You can either email. What's the support? How do you reach out to support on the Gusto side?
Yeah, so support@gusto.com would be the best way to go ahead and do that. And we also have the phone number, 877-590-4354. Feel free to reach out at any time. If you're a new customer, the customer success onboarding team is there to help you out as well. So any questions, please feel free to reach out. There's a ton of content as well on the Aplos side and the Gusto side on these different pieces on onboarding and church nonprofit specific.
Yeah, and same with us, support@aplos.com, or use the intercom link once you're logged into the software, that little question mark thingy to bring up the chat. You can also call us at 274-1316 or 888-274-1316. just keep in mind that we are the accounting side, and so we are not the payroll experts. That is Gusto. So if it's a payroll related type kind of question, we would typically defer to them. But if it's something related to the integration or what happens on the accounting side, feel free to give us a call, and we would be happy to help with that. All right, thank you for your time. Thank you again, Sam, for walking us through that demo. If you guys have any questions, reach out to us, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks, and have a great day.
Yep, thanks, everyone.